Today, my friends, we have for you a breakdown on Hybrid here at Town Hall 11. We're going to be going over everything you need to know about this, and then we're going to be showing you guys how I hit with Hybrid at Town Hall 11. So that's right, guys, we are going over Hybrid here at Town Hall 11. So we're going to be giving you guys all the tips and tricks in order to understand this strategy within these first two examples. Then we're going to do two more examples with me going live in farming raids. Hopefully you guys will be able to see what I can do in terms of that. So what are the necessary things to know about this? Well, this is going to be a good base in terms of pathing and stuff. So I want to give you guys this base as an example for this strategy. It's really important that you can get pathing out of the way in order to sort of really be able to sort of 3-star with this. So this is a really good base design for this. So you see this circled part. That is an area where we can charge into by just using one jump. That's all we really need to do. We just use that queen walk into a queen charge with the jump. So what we're doing here is by clearing out this section and by funneling over here with the king and the siege barrack, we can then actually send in our hybrid like this. And that's how simple it can be. Definitely, it's not hard at all. It's just making sure that you can get that funneling value on either side of the base in order to 3-star. So that's going to be the big portion here. So let's kind of quickly go over why you would charge down here. Well, first of all, you want to look at the CC, which is going to be a big thing to sort of take care of. So if we jump right here, we get access to the eagle, which is definitely a positive. I mean, we want to be able to get rid of that if we can. If not, it's fine as long as we're charging into it with the miners and hogs. But if we're not, it's definitely worth it to get with the queen charge. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be walking our queen, like you see right here, this direction. So we want to make sure that our queen is going into the base in order to make sure that she is getting the value that she needs, which means that we would either be using maybe even 1 or 2 of those Valkyries to create the funnel, which they can be used there. So it's definitely very helpful. So as I play this right here, you guys will see on how our queen is going to be working her way towards the part that we want to sort of, jump into. And that's really what we've got to take a look at. So we want to make sure that we are focusing on our queen. You'll see that we're using a couple Valkyries here and a wizard just in order to carve this area out of the base, allowing our queen to now walk into here because this building is now out of range of both her sight range and also her attack range. And then basically the Valkyries here carve this area out of the pathing. So now this means he's able to use the jump, and now the attacker can get the value that he needs with that jump spell. So all you see right there is mainly getting rid of the eagle, getting rid of those wizard towers and stuff like that. And we're just really taking our time. 2 rage spells, and then we have 3 heal spells for our hybrid. And we'll kind of go over the heal spells as well. It's very, very simple stuff, but at the same time, it's really just not spamming everything in. Now notice how we're going to take care of the CC, which it is a baby dragon CC, so you'll see that what we're doing is we are just poisoning it up, and that's it. We're raging up our queen and all of that. On this side over here, we are cutting off the funnel over here for the miners and hogs, so that then it kind of looks a little bit like this when they enter in. But we're using this top section over here with the king and the siege barrack. If you don't have access to the siege barrack, I would just use the king. That is just going to be a little bit better. So you'll see that as we're entering into the base here, we are going to have that warden right behind. We're going to use our first heal spell over the multi-inferno in order to keep a lot of the miners and the hog riders alive. We got to make sure that we are doing that. On top of this, though, we should be popping our ability as we're getting into the core, or the hypothetical core of the base. That way what we can do is actually move our way through, so it's basically keeping our troops invincible as we're moving everything through the base. That's really important, and that's going to allow us to sort of continue to move forward with this attack. And then remember just the heal spells as you sort of move across through. And that's really all it is. It's very, very simple. It's really not that bad, and it really kind of gives you guys a lot more to sort of test out with. So definitely this is a good first example just so you guys can see the pathing that was involved. You would notice that the hogs and the miners did move around like this. So it was good pathing for the hybrid. And other than that, it was a really good example just going over a lot of different things. Let's move on into one last example before we get into my live attacks. So this base design is a little bit different. So what you'll notice is that we have the eagle basically squared up right here in the center of the base. That is going to be really difficult. So what we are kind of looking for here in terms of this is we're not so much looking for the eagle, but just to create that pathing. Again, as I said. So what we're doing is we are going to be walking our queen and charging her in right around this section. What this means though is that then on the opposite side, so if I scroll up here, so this is where we're doing our queen charge, and then we are going to be using the king and the siege barrack going down this way. This way we can, set a funnel on this outer side here, and our pathing for the hybrid is going to be pretty much one long thing. It's going to be going in, but because of how the eagle is placed, everything's going to mostly move around the eagle. So just keep that in mind. So if you find yourself seeing a base design like this where the eagle is basically almost in the center and you cannot be you can't send troops in there unless you've already sort of cleared up all the buildings, then that is something that you guys need to think about. Other than that, though, it's still a very simple strategy. So we're going to see the queen being used in order to make sure that you are setting one side of the funnel. Remember that we have baby dragons here that can help us in terms of getting rid of some just making pathing for our queen charge. So what we're doing here is we're using baby dragons instead of the Valkyries. Last time it was because of how the buildings were placed. That 2-tile gap between the elixir and gold storage in the last one allowed our queen to sort of not go in that direction because her sight range wasn't that far. But you can see that as we're charging our way in, we're going to use a jump spell right over the eagle compartment and also the other compartments, but she will not go for the eagle, and instead she's going to focus going downwards. You'll see that there are 2 ground expos, so sometimes this is definitely a little bit of a harder base to hit with a queen charge sometimes, because that is why they're trying to defend it. It's by using the ground expos to defend some sort of ground attack. And you can see from here as well is dealing with an enemy CC like a lava hound is still very easy to do. So we've already created funneling on that side. So what this means now is we're going to use the king and the siege barrack, and they're going to mostly move down this path. What this means is now we can send in our miners and our hog riders to kind of go like this around the base. So we can kind of start to spam them in there. So you'll see it as we're working through. We want to use our Warden ability very early on as everything is moving through. So you see right here, we have the Warden ability going through, keeping a lot of those miners and hogs alive. So we don't really need to use the heal spells there just yet. So then when we are starting to use those heal spells, we want to make sure that we are getting the most out of, everything from the from our miners, from our hog riders, and making sure that they go through the entire base. And that is what's really, really important with this attack. So you want to make sure, though, that you are getting the most out of your hybrid for the most part. And even you can see one hog rider there is actually going to help take care of that eagle. And that is really good. So sometimes that may happen. Sometimes the eagle might be the last structure. Outside of that, though, you guys still get the idea in terms of hybrid here at Town Hall 11. So these were 2 really good examples, very solid examples. And now we're going to move on into 2 live attacks that I have here for you guys that will hopefully improve you guys and help you guys see what I do with hybrid. So guys, we've got the army composition right here, so feel free to copy it down. So we're going to go into 2 live attacks, and hopefully both of these attacks will be successful. Still a little rusty at Town Hall 11, but let's see if we can get it. So guys, we've got this base here. We're going to jump straight into it, but we see that the eagle is relatively close. So what I'm going to be doing here is something a little bit different. So we're not going to use the siege or the blimp here. So what I'm going to be doing is, I'm actually doing what, let's use, yeah, let's go ahead and use the queen. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the balloon. See if there are any, seeking air mines over there. And then we'll use the baby dragon here. That's going to clear up this section. We use the king right here. And we have the jump spell, so I'm going to make sure that we're using that right here. Then I will pop the king's ability, make sure that he's going in the right direction. Make sure that he's going over to the left. And now what we're going to be seeing is we're going to see our queen starting to move in. I'm going to see if there is a CC. There is not. So I can rage up my queen going through here. Make sure that she's staying alive, taking care of the eagle. So now I have a somewhat of a good funnel set. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and start kind of focusing in on just creating the funnel here. I think that's going to be good here. So I think we're looking good. Rage up the queen again. And now I think what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start sending everything in. Miner's right behind. Then I'm going to send in my hog riders. And then I'm going to send in the blimp. So you'll see what's going to be happening. So I'm going to basically send everything through. Then I'm going to pop it right here so it can get some sort of value from it. So we're using the Yeti bomb here, but we're not really using it as the typical. So we're making sure that we can send everything through. I know that there was an Inferno down, but that's still completely fine. So we still haven't used the Queen's ability. I'm going to go ahead and pop the Warden over the over those giant bombs. And we just have to deal with these Teslas here. I'm going to freeze up that Queen. We can poison her up as well. I think this might be a good triple here. I'm going to freeze her up again so she's not really dealing anything to those hogs. But it looks really, really good, and it looks like we are going to be able to get the 3-star here. So you guys can still see it's still very consistent. It's going to come down to time here. That's going to be the biggest sort of thing. We should still have a good chunk of miners going through. I'm going to pop the Queen's ability here. Let's see if we have enough time to get to this 3-star here. Hopefully I didn't spend too much time in terms of talking, and hopefully we can try to get the triple here with 15 seconds. I think we will still be able to. We still have the Yeti up. That is gonna do it. Boom, there we go, 3-star. So you guys can still see I'm not a pro at this, but I'm still pretty good at it. So now we're going to go ahead into another example, this time using the Siege Barrack, just so that then you guys can see me attack with the Siege Barrack as well. So here we go, guys. We've got our second base and our final example, and what we're going to be doing is we are going to basically charge our way into here, and we're going to use the Siege Barrack at around 12 o'clock. So here is what we're going to do first. First I want to see if there's a CC. Doesn't look like it, so I'm going to drop in a couple hog riders here. That way we can sort of take care of that. So what we're going to be doing is I am just going to be setting up the funnel for the queen for her to basically charge into. So I'm just letting the hog riders here take care of the eagle. And then now I can start to send in my queen. This is good. So you can see that we are going to be able to enter into the base hopefully here. So the queen should be able to take that jump. I'm going to rage up my queen just really quickly. There we go. She's entering into the base now. So basically what I'm trying to do is just carve out an area of the base, allowing my queen to go off in a certain direction. So I'm going to drop in the king right here with the Siege Barrack right behind him. Now again, you don't really need the Siege Barrack here, but of course it's really going to be up to you. So I'm going to drop in a miner right here, hopefully to kind of clear up this. I'm going to rage up the queen again just to make sure that she's still going through. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop in the miners. Warden right behind, now the hog riders, and then I'm going to pop the king's ability. Oop, I did not mean to pop the warden so soon. Whoops. Either way, we're still going to try and get through the space, even though we made that one mistake here. I'm going to poison up the skeletons right here. So I didn't mean to use that so early, but we should still be able to get through a good chunk of this here. Queen's not down just yet. So I'm going to freeze up this section here. We should be able to get through this a little bit easier. Alright, we still have a couple wizards here. I'm going to use 2 balloons there. I'm going to use a wizard right behind. And I think that's good. I don't even think we need to use that other freeze spell. And I think we are good. I know it's a little bit of an easier base design here. But still, definitely good to show, and you guys can see what happens even when something like that does not go to plan. Outside of that though, hopefully you guys did enjoy, and hopefully you guys did learn something from this, see what I usually do with my attacks. And even though that first one was like barely a triple, definitely you guys can still see though that I'm trying my best to sort of talk while also attacking. But hopefully you guys did enjoy something, learn something from me attacking and from the others in the replays attacking. But with that being said, guys, remember to leave a comment down below telling me if you guys enjoyed this, maybe you guys want to see more of it. Let me know in the comments below. I definitely love and appreciate any of the support that you guys would give me. Other than that though, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Remember to hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. If you guys want to go ahead and join my community Discord server, or follow me on Twitter or Instagram, or even follow me on Twitch or madcat/Trovo, then definitely remember to go ahead and check out the description below in this section where I have all my social media links. On top of that, feel free to go ahead and join any of the clans I cover, also in the description underneath the join my clans section. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.